Sako and Dalton. They are this famous, pretty popular couple on the internet, and they're very well known. I would say specifically in the Facebook world, but I think on Instagram and stuff like that, even though I don't go on that stuff. But I'm using this Sako and Dalton situation as a great example of why you need to stop getting attached to strangers, relationships online that you don't know. Enjoy the content. For the most part, the content is very, I don't know, uplifting. It's very just like, I would say it's very like down to earth content about couples and the reality and stuff like that. I think it's pretty good, harmless stuff for the most part. Watch the content and avoid the obvious tactics for engagement. People are more passionate about couples that they've never met than they will ever be for someone who actually likes them. To kind of summarize what's going on, there's been a recent video where he posted a video of just him, and it's been like that for a few videos now on their channel, and post a video of him talking about life is sad sometimes, and he's talking, basically being open about he's struggling. He was even emotional now, struggling about things his mom's going through, illness wise, how he's battling some type of depression, and making illusions that something is wrong with Sako. Essentially, his wife, the mother of his children type of thing, and that there's something going on with them, which has got people worried. If you watched it, you would be like, hey, what's wrong with her? I understand everyone's all about staying out of people's business. I'm of that nature, except when your whole channel is about y'all and you put all this stuff out there, you can't put vague videos out there like that without understanding that all you're doing is creating more intrigue. Now there's assumptions. Is she dead? I'm not kidding. People are assuming shit, she might be dead, because now we got these internet sleuths going online to the state they live with court documents that apparently he's had some court situations with domestic. It doesn't even say domestic can mean a lot of things. People assume it means her, it means whatever. I don't know. To be honest, it's not really the point. But when people start digging, when people start creating narratives, they start creating their own story because they want to juice it up even more. But then they're like, well, everyone should mind their business. Like, you guys are bringing more to light than anyone ever knew. And them as the creators are doing it to themselves. And I'll tell you to step further. They know exactly what they're doing. I personally, and I could be wrong, I think it's a tactic for more engagement. I'm not saying they don't have relationship problems, but this is articulated. He did it on their own channel that involves the both of them. You don't grow a channel at that scale, you don't have that much success doing this stuff if you do not know how to keep people engaged. This is coming from a person that doesn't have 1/8 millionth of a success on these platforms that they do. But you don't have to have that success to understand. Really, any obvious person that consumes enough of this stuff, study your habits. What keeps you engaged? What keeps you? They know that doing this, people are going to assume the most extreme. So it causes people to share, it causes people to make posts, it causes people to do more digging and all this stuff. And this piece of content has blown up even more than their other stuff that blows up all the time. And I know people don't want to hear this. You gotta understand, this is just the internet game. Because I'll be 100% honest to you. People saying to mind their business and leave them alone. You know what? If I posted something, per se, And you know exactly what you're doing when you leave that open interpretation. They could easily, if they wanted to, make a 2-minute video on their iPhone unedited and be like, hey, I just want to clarify, let everyone know she's alive, she's not, there's nothing wrong with her. You know, this is just personal issue, but we are both alive. They could easily do that. But they don't. Why? Engagement. Unfortunately, drama and fear and leaving up to interpretation that leads to more engagement, that's going to cause more people to talk about you, put your channel and name in theirs, it's only going to help their channel out. And then when you have your diehard fans, when you leave open interpretation, people are going to defend you no matter what. So when other people make these assumptions of death and domestic violence, and everyone's going to be like, leave them alone, you don't know what's going on, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, okay, I get that. Except you put it out there and you haven't done anything to even alleviate the most extreme concerns. At some point, I'm not saying people should be out here trying to die on this earth, trying to figure out what the fuck's happening with them. But at the same time, y'all know the deal and they know exactly what they're doing. And this is why I talk about when as consumers, as audience members, you need to be a little bit smarter about what's happening. Just a little bit smarter. Like, I'm gonna be honest, like, do we really think, and I know people are crazy out here, do you think, like, if he really did something that did that, you really think he's gonna be posting a video to their big ass fan base and no one's gonna get worried if he was worried about getting caught for something? Like, let's use a little common sense here. I would rather be wrong, going the more common sense route, than trying to be the smartest guy in the fucking room and looking like a fucking idiot doing so. They're a great example of how parasocial relationships go really wrong. You got two people that met in the most genuine, realistic ways of modern day aging. From what I know, if I remember, they met on a dating app, blah, 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 fell in love, had kids, married. It's like a genuine love story of two people at the most unexpected times of their life that weren't looking for anything. Two people that you would never expect to be together, and they just genuinely seem like they love each other. That is like the American genuine love story that most people would die for. Because when you know, not to get all too psyop here, but typically the greatest things happen for you when you are not looking for it. When you are, that's why desperation never attracts what you want. When you are desperate for attention and desperate to find a partner, you typically have the hardest time because you're not opening up that genuine aspect of yourself. You're not free-spirited. But Sako and Dalton are a great example of how having a delusional fan base and creating engagement, and they know what they're doing, and because people like them, they can't be like, hey man, like, I understand people shouldn't be assuming X, Y, and Z, but you could easily just come out and clear up some of this shit up. You don't have to give any details about why she's not in the video. You don't have to give any details about y'all's marriage, relationship issues, blah, blah, blah. You can just say, I just want to clear something up. We are both alive and well. Every situation that's problems, they don't owe me that. I could give two fucking shits. But to these crazy ass people online, the more people keep digging and digging, they're gonna find out anyways. But to me, it's a reflection on how unhealthy, chronically online we are. And I'm not saying I never am online too much, because obviously we all are online too much. No matter how we want to put up this facade that, no, we're more disconnected from anything, and yet you make 30 comments on YouTube all fucking day. But ironically, by participating, by having an account of any social media, no matter even if you say it's for business purposes, by making a single comment on a video, positive or negative, but especially if you are more on the negative side, by participating in the matrix, quote unquote, that people obsess over, by participating in the social media culture, by participating in obsession over strangers that at the end of the day don't really care for you the way they do, the way they say they do, and they shouldn't. It is up to us to use more common sense. I'm not going to stress a single second about a creator I watch until, if they want to make it confusing for engagement, comedians do it all the time, right? One of my favorite comedians, Mark Norman, he did it like a year or two ago. He admitted he went on stage and basically faked someone attacking him on stage, like a protester attacking the stage. But it was scripted. It was paid for. He got paid for it by a secret media company or organization. It was supposed to be a bit type of thing. And I'll be honest, I didn't really like it. I thought it was kind of corny because he made it and it was promoted for days that people thought that Mark Norman was attacked. It made TMZ. It made people feel like, oh shit, the world's attacking comedy, freedom of speech, but these woke motherfuckers and all this shit. I didn't like it because it was inauthentic. I didn't like it because it was an obvious gauge to farm more clicks. And that disease of farming more clicks causes this type of shit. And I love Mark. It doesn't change. I was listening to his podcast. We might be drunk before recording this video. And I'm fine with it. I understand it. It's annoying. But we are all participating in the nonsense. You are all participating for why these creators do this shit, because it makes more money. There are people that openly troll, like people that don't even have a big following, but they just say the most obviously outlandish shit for obvious engagement. Especially from these middle-aged old fucks on Facebook, you know. They'll be like, I was in line at Publix and I was second in line and there was someone in front of me. If you were going to order 4 sandwiches, you should ask me, shouldn't she have asked me behind, since I only have 1 sandwich out of the order? The courteous would have been, hey, since I only have 1, now I have to wait 15 minutes and you have to make and all this shit. And it's like, then he's asking the audience, am I being unreasonable? Leave your thoughts below. It's like, dude, you know exactly what you're doing. Oh, this person sat next to a window, but since I'm older, shouldn't I have gone? You know, that it's like, it's just farming for engagement, and there's nothing authentic about it. And my thing is, I'm not saying every piece of content has to be authentic. We all know we are all playing an eluded version of ourselves. We are playing we are playing a more obtainable, we are playing a more digestible, a version that we think will get us the most fans, the most audience. Good or bad, honestly. And that's where you get the, it's just content, bro. That whole type of younger Gen Z type of stuff. People do the wildest shit on these streams and say, it's just content. That's the problem, is since everything is just content, just because people are getting more money doing delusional shit, people rationalize it. When you have the mentality, and we have that, hey bro, I'm just out here getting this bag. No shame here. It's like there's no shame until you can't get money that way anymore. Then what are you gonna do? And Sako and Dalton's not doing that. But I do think, going back to the main point of this video, is we have this unhealthy cultural obsession with having attachments to strangers we don't know. Streamers is like, for me, I'll be honest, I personally it's weird because on YouTube I watch streamer clips, you know, so I know some of the streamers without ever watching actually any of their streams. But it's hard for me to sit there and pay somebody, you know, one thing to pay someone monthly for content. People are content for you want to pay, there's nothing wrong with that. But people that constantly give donations to people that are making tens of millions of dollars. Here's a $50 donation, even though, you know, I'm barely getting by. There's something odd about that, but people will rationalize just because, look what this person does for me in my entertainment. And they'll be fine without your $50 donation. And that's one thing I respect about someone like Penguins, Charlie, Moist Critical, whatever you want to go by, is years ago he got a lot of flack for turning off donations because he's like, look how much fucking money I've made on the internet. I made $35 million off of YouTube alone. I don't need you to donate to me. I am fine. And he actually got backlash for not taking any more money from people directly because the other streamers were like, well, this actually hurts because then people guilt us, and just like, he's like, no one's telling you what to do. I'm not doing it because I don't need it. And that honesty is refreshing, and that's why people like him. That's why people respect him. That's why people, when we watch a Charlie Moist Critical video, Penguins, however you consume him, when we watch him, we know we are getting a generally funny, but we are getting his real sarcastic, legitimate opinion on shit. I'm gonna wrap this up just by saying that stop being passionate about people that aren't gonna directly impact your life. It's one thing to watch a couple and appreciate it and just what it is. They do vlogs, appreciate that vlog, oh, couple goals, whatever. But also remember that when people are telling you how great their relationship is online, or they think they even telling you all the flaws about it, is making them more vulnerable and open about a lot of shit. When they tell you all this stuff, know that when people tell you how great something is or how flawed something is, and they make an emphasis to tell you a lot about it, they're convincing yourselves. It's almost like they're trying to convince themselves by telling the world. So please, get a grip on yourselves. So yeah, meep meep.